Is it better to work out before or after Iftar during Ramadan? Let me break gains. So, good afternoon on this fine, unusually warm afternoon in London. So, my name is Kevin Valentine, the creator of Live to Make History. And in this video, we're going to be talking about Ramadan and everything you need to know about working out and making it happen for yourselves. So if you don't already know, Ramadan is a holy month where it is celebrated all around the world with, close friends and family. And so it's a time to reflect. It is a time to reflect on your own health and fitness, your own personal health and well-being, because you are restricting certain foods during certain time periods. So those who are in Ramadan cannot eat between sunrise to sunset. I understand fasting during the day can leave most people feeling tired and can't be asked to go to the gym. But there are still ways you can continue to go to the gym and still stick to your goals. Life is about adapting new situations and making it specific, not just to you, but to the current situation itself. So I have lived with somebody, of course, who celebrated Ramadan, lived with them for quite some time. So what I tend to do, as time goes on, you learn, you adapt the current situation. Me being the fitness expert I wanted to study and understand how I can still make it specific to them and their fitness, how they can continue to still elevate their gains. So yes, things are made a lot easier once you can learn and adapt from the current situation. So this video, I'm going to give you I will give you 5 tips on what you can continue to do to maintain those gains during this holy period. Are we ready? Let's go. Is it better to work out before or after Iftar during Ramadan? Let me break this down to make it simple, basic, so you can continue to elevate those gains. Both have its own benefits. If your goal is to lose stubborn fat, then obviously working out during your fasting period would be very beneficial, because your blood sugar levels are its lowest during the end of your fasting. So the body will draw the energy from your fat storages and utilize that as energy, which will aid and help in your fat loss. On the other hand, if you're looking to train after your Iftar, it's best to do high intensity workouts. Why? Because you can drink water this time. Drink more water, which requires more energy. Of course, because you're training at high intensity, it's going to require more energy. So you're able to drink more water now, because obviously it's post-Iftar. This will allow you to burn those extra stubborn calories. Yes, those extra calories from the foods you have just previously been consuming. Tip number 2 of everything you need to know about working out during this Ramadan. So, did you know low impact exercises uses stored stubborn fat as energy? So think of squats, deadlifts, your lunges, your overhead press, even dumbbell workouts will use fat storages to be utilized as energy. If you are going to do a specific kind of training, make sure you add those kind of trainings, I call them the compound lifts or weights, into your routines to allow you to continue to burn fat whilst you're still toning up, whilst you're still being in that deficit, of course, because it's a time where most people are likely to be in a deficit. So you're still going to be losing weight and still crushing it. But, and that is a big but, as stated previously, if you want to do high intensity interval, high intensity kind of training, you want to do it just after you break your fasting if you've got fuel into your system. Because once you do high intensity kind of training, the body will eat up your glycogen storages. That's your carbs, that's the energy that we use for fuel. It's going to attack that and go into your muscle storages. So it's best to hold that and eat that. So basically have that high intensity training after your iftar, after you fast, because you're less likely going to tap that muscle storages and feel weak and dizzy. The reason why you may feel weak, tired, dizzy is because your blood sugar levels has dropped. So it's best to do your high intensity workouts, even cardio, after you break your fast. Tip number 3. What foods should you be eating during iftar if you're gonna, work out during this whole Ramadan period? If you are working out during Ramadan, make sure you are consuming foods that are rich in potassium. Foods that are high in potassium include beans, dark and leafy greens, potatoes, squash, yogurt, avocados, mushrooms, and bananas. Did you know dates are nutrient powerhouses? Why? They are an excellent source of potassium and is best to be used as you break your fast. Thank me later. Try and make it a must that you consume hydrating vegetables. What do I mean by hydrating vegetables? Hydrating vegetables include lettuce, cucumbers, and other vegetables that are high in fiber and contain a lot of water. And finally, as we most already know, it is highly important to have a lot of water and avoid those sugar-free drinks. Tip number 4. Very simple tip. How much should I realistically be drinking during Ramadan? So as we know, you're more likely going to be, dehydrated. But the rule and the principle still stays the same. Try and make sure you're consuming minimum. I have to pause there. Try and make sure you're consuming minimum of 2 liters a day. Of course, the more active you're going to be, the more high intensity exercise may be, you need to drink slightly a bit more water than that, but the principle stays the same. You should be already naturally drinking a lot of water, especially if you're looking to maintain and elevate those gains. If you're still confused how much should I roughly drink of 2 liters a day, you can also get a bottle and measure it. Just use a 2-liter bottle, or if you're still confused, go by the 8x8 rule, which means consuming 8-ounce glasses of water a day, which basically goes back to what I said before, consuming, which is basically 2 liters. And finally, tip number 5. Can sugary foods and desserts and all those sweet, craving, tasting foods affect my performance during Ramadan? As we all know, having sugary foods will 100% affect your performance. Obviously, there's lots of mixed reviews. Some people say, it's good to have sugary foods because you get that energy high when you train. But you need to remember that energy high, what goes up must come down. So that energy high is going to make you feeling very low, very lethargic, very you can't be bothered to do things because you have that energy crash. So should you realistically be taking, having high amounts of sugars, at certain points during the day or before you work out, etc.? Should you be realistically? Think about that. Refined sugars should be the first thing you should be technically avoiding or having it in low amounts, because you're fasting during this Ramadan period, your sugar levels drop, and having refined sugars is going to make it 10 times worse. It's going to spike that insulin levels. And you know what that means? That's also linked with weight gain. Natural sugars you should be technically consuming should be consistent of fruits, grains, and even milk. Even milk are great sources of sugars that will give you that burst of energy that will help you during your training. Always remember, things are in moderation. So I will never say, you know what, you can never have this, but try and limit it. Try and limit the stuff that I said limit. Just limit it. Have things in moderation during this period. You know, things are going to be a lot more, you may find things a lot harder for you. So maintain that at your own pace. Always do things with moderation. And those were the 5 simple tips or advice you can continue to use during this period. If you have any questions, just leave in a comment below, or you want me to do a certain topic, etc. Link to health and fitness, let me know, and I shall of course make history and make it happen. So it is, hold on, the sun is setting here. The time is, let me check actually, hold on 1 second. The time here is 5:24, but the sun seems to be setting quite early here. But yes, sun is setting here. Of course, people are going to be still fasting during this period. But yes, let's go out there and let's continue. Let's continue to live. Let's continue to live to make history. Why? Because you and I, we have one life.